I'm Brooke, and I'm a carnivore coach for MeatRx. And today I'm visiting with Megan Nutting, who's also a carnivore coach with MeatRx. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to visit with you, and thank you so much for taking the time to share your story about the carnivore diet with everyone.
Yeah, it's fun. I love to hear other people's stories too. So I'm glad I have an opportunity to share
Yeah.
my story.
Well, I'm curious what brought you to this all meat diet, all animal food diet?
Yeah, I might be a little not like exactly right on the amount of years or how long ago this started. I have 4 kids, and my youngest is 12 years old. But after I had him, I had accumulated weight from the pregnancies and just ate a normal standard American diet. After I had George, my youngest, I was having trouble losing the weight. And I was kind of exploring different ideas of how I could lose weight. I had gone to the doctor to get a physical, and at the physical, they told me that I was a candidate for my cholesterol was a little high, and that I needed to take cholesterol lowering medication. And this was in my late 30s. Now I'm 48. So I thought that's way too young for me to be taking a cholesterol lowering medication. I need to figure this out. So I Googled what's a natural way to lower your cholesterol, and then this book came up, Sugar Busters, which was I think of one of the most popular diet books in the 80s, maybe. So you just cutting out sugar from your diet. Anyway, so I just started doing that. I never went back to get the cholesterol lowering medication. And ended up losing weight by cutting out sugar, and then making the connection between sugar and carbs, because carbs are exactly like sugar. Eating a piece of bread is no different than, maybe eating a candy bar, an obvious sugar. So I lost a ton of weight, but then also right around within that time frame, my dad was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, and he had been on a low fat diet. He had been put on a low fat diet most of the, his, from 30, 40 years old. He was he had a pacemaker put in. He had inherited a bad heart, and they told him he had to eat a low fat diet. They put him on blood thinners and then cholesterol lowering medication. He didn't even have high cholesterol. They just did it as a preventative measure for him. So now finding out that, these are all things that can contribute to dementia, right? The statins and the blood thinners, and also zero fat in his diet couldn't have been good for his brain. So I started exploring the keto diet for 2 reasons. It came up as an athletic performance diet. It can help with boost athletic performance, but then also for brain health. And so I experimented with that, liked it, I felt good. But I ended up starting to feel kind of bloated when I was eating the vegetables, and I just would want to eat the meat. And I felt so satisfied from just eating the meat on the plate. And I remember I started thinking, is there such a thing as a diet where you just eat meat? Because I just could eat the meat and I feel great. I almost feel level up from keto. My performance in the gym was better. I felt better. My brain clarity, everything about it was great. And so then I Googled it, and then I came up with the zero carb group on Facebook, came across Sean Baker, and I was fully hooked. Okay, there's such a thing. And I would just religiously read all the scientific data that Sean Baker would post, and to make sure I wasn't going to drop dead in my sleep. I can't believe this is okay, but let's just do this. And so I've been doing it ever since. And I feel like it's helping me, it supports my gym life, my fitness life. It supports my brain health. It makes me feel like I'm doing something to help prevent dementia in my future and my heart health. And So yeah, and I used to get headaches kind of regularly. I feel like that's gone away. Um, and then I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm no longer a candidate for cholesterol lowering medication from a physical I'd had last year, even though I don't think those numbers are that important, our physical numbers when we, but
Did your
I don't know.
triglycerides, did your triglycerides drop with that new blood work?
Yeah, so I can't, don't have it in front of me, and I wish I did, but my good cholesterol went up. And so it negated any rise in my bad cholesterol. Um, so everything looked good. Everything was great. And I mean, I think for me, it's more about, and I know Sean Baker's talked about this, everyone wants to know his numbers, we'll prove it that you don't have high cholesterol, prove that you don't. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think it has so much more to do with how you feel.
Right.
And I feel better than I felt like when I was in my 20s. So I don't feel compelled to have to go get those numbers and find out what they are. My heart feels great. I feel good. And so, yeah.
How about the whole family? Have they adopted it, or what's?
I've got a couple. So my oldest is at school in Montana. And so she eats kind of college girl life. I'm sure she drinks a fair amount of beer and eats a lot of Doritos or whatever. But my boys kind of dabble. We eat a ton of meat. So meat is our primary food item on our plate. One of my boys is also like an avid hunter, fisherman guy, and he's just the perfect fit for carnivore. He loves meat. And so he's pretty strict about it. They've all kind of dabbled in it, and they're aware of it, and they know about it. And if they ever want to kind of drop pounds sometimes too, they'll kind of enter into the world of just getting rid of the fruits, the vegetables, and the other stuff, and they'll usually lose weight, and feel better. And so.
Good deal. How about your spouse?
So my husband, I joke about this, that he has a cheat day every day. He's a hunter, meat eater, total meat eater guy. He's so interested in the carnivore diet. He's always talking about it to other people. My wife is a carnivore. He's not fully carnivore guy. He loves meat, but he's also the kind of guy that likes to have some cheese curds and other food items. So
cheese curds would be carnivore. But maybe he likes beer with his cheese curds.
Yeah, for sure. He's more of like, oh gosh, he's just a meat and potatoes guy. He grew up on a farm, and so biscuits and gravy and that kind of world is kind of a staple in his world. So he could never be a vegetarian, but he's definitely a meat eater.
What do you eat now? What's your typical day of what you're eating?
So, I usually eat, I think probably right now I'm 2 meals a day. In the morning, I'll have kind of a mid-morning snack. I have a 0 sugar, 0 carb, all natural beef jerky that I'll eat that I enjoy. And then it's usually around 2 o'clock, I'll eat lunch. And today I had a bowl of scrambled hamburger with 3 pieces of bacon, and just chowed it, loved it. It was so good. And then tonight I'll eat again, probably a ribeye. Lobster has been kind of my thing lately. Turns out that's pretty easy to just boil and eat. So I don't know, living large with a ribeye and a lobster is awesome, and I feel so good. And I've noticed sometimes, like, the later I eat, the better I sleep. Yeah, and so I just feel like, and even calmer when I wake up in the morning. So I feel like it's just like good fuel for sleep in a way for me. So yeah, 2 meaty meals a day. I don't, sometimes I'll throw tuna in because I like tuna, just as for some variety. I'm not a huge fan of chicken. It feels like a weak meat, and it's not super filling. But a ribeye is downright filling, and so is hamburger, and we'll do pork chops sometimes too to kind of switch it up. I take a beef liver supplement because I know organ meats are so full of nutrients, and I should be incorporating those more, but I'll be honest and say I'm slightly grossed out by them. but so
Do you eat
yeah.
eggs?
I do occasionally. I go kind of through stages of eggs. I get into them and then I don't want them anymore, and then I'll have them. So whenever I'm craving them, I'll eat them. I'll sometimes I'll make a sausage egg scramble and make a big pan of it, and then I'll put it in a Tupperware dish or a glass dish and just reheat it. Yeah, whenever I'm kind of looking for a variety, you and I were talking, I could eat ribeye every day. I don't really need a ton of variety. I'm more interested in like just feeling comfortably full, kind of, more in that category. And it's so satisfying that I don't really crave anything else.
Do you use dairy?
I try to avoid the cheeses, and I kind of avoid it. I don't feel as good. I can definitely tell when if I add cheese to like my taco or my hamburger scramble, I'll add cheese sometimes, but I don't, for whatever reason, I don't really want it. I don't feel as good when I'm taking in dairy. I don't know
So it
why.
sounds like beef is pretty much your jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My jam, and bacon is freaking awesome. Love bacon. Sometimes I'll get like a thick cut of a Newski's bacon, and I just have to always make sure there's no brown sugar glaze or any of those kind of added things, embellishments to it. But yeah, what about you? Do you eat eggs and dairy?
I do eat eggs. I mean, I have chickens, so I do eat eggs. Not a lot of them, but I'll usually eat them a few times a week. And I mean, I like being able to like incorporate them in case I am in making something like sometimes I'll make chaffles for friends, that those carnivore waffles and those employ eggs.
Yeah.
So I like being able to utilize that. But when I hear of people doing these egg fasts, they'll just eat eggs for like days and days, or like 10
Yeah.
eggs.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking that, that would be a way to sort of like create an egg allergy. So I avoid, overusing things like eggs.
Sure. That makes sense. So you have chickens, huh?
I have chickens. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
have never, I have a friend who has chickens, and I've heard, he has said to me, once you try one of the eggs from his like from not store-bought, kind of the non-organic, you'll never want to go back. It's just like the greatest, like distinctly different taste to those eggs. So
yeah. Although I think really good eggs are available to most people. You pay a little premium, and it's always worth paying whatever the cost for a pastured egg. It's usually
sure.
And it's still cheap, eggs.
Right. Yeah, eggs are just relatively cheap. Yeah, don't you feel like, I feel like the older I get, the more, the less bad I feel about putting money into the fuel I'm putting in my body. So if I need to pay a little extra more, I'd rather do that and cut, expenses or costs in other areas rather than what I'm putting in my body.
And I actually have found that the carnivore diet I save money on my food budget. I spend less money than when I was buying all those superfoods.
Sure.
All those
right.
imported superfoods.
Yeah.
And now
all with antioxidants.
All the antioxidants, all the stuff. And then throwing away some of it because you can't get to it.
Right. Yeah.
And all the time I save in because I always had gardens, grew vegetables and farmers markets, but grew vegetables. And then you have to trap the gophers, and you have to keep deer out. You have to do all those things about the animals. And now all the animals are just in the garden, and the deer, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're all
so you lost I bet that was almost like a full-time job when you were trying to protect your vegetables from all the predators and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, not really a full-time job, but certainly a lot of energy. And then your back hurts from all the garden. I mean, it's like so much easier just now to eat meat.
Yep. Where do you get your meat? Do you have a grocery store nearby that you get your meat, or do you?
I get it from everywhere. I get it from ranchers nearby. there's a lamb rancher right down the road. She's got great lamb. I
Okay.
can get lamb from there. I get it from Costco. I get it from Safeway. Sometimes I buy a part of a beef from someone and keep it in the freezer. And I just mix it up.
Yeah. Oh, it's great that you have all those different resources
What about
available
you in
to you.
Minnesota? There's ranchers up there.
You know, not where we are right here. I know of other people who will like do kind of like the share crop or like share a cow or that kind of thing. Like, because there's a lot of farming here, and there's a lot of. I mean, I end up just going to the grocery store and getting it most of the time. But my husband's a hunter, and so a bow hunter, and elk meat is absolutely, we're out of it right now. So I didn't bring that up as one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite meat. And he'll make a elk bacon that's more like a jerky. And I'll eat all that. We just he had got a moose in Alaska last fall. And so we have moose meat. So whatever and venison, and so whatever he hunts and comes home with, and I'll eat that meat too, but mostly store bought. So.
Nice. So you mix it up too, and you have you probably fish up there. I mean, Minnesota has tons of fish.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fish person, but that there's plenty of that around for sure. Walleye and yeah, but for whatever reason, I'm not a huge like lake fish person.
So when you're using the elk and the venison, are you adding beef fat to that?
No, but it is very lean. It's very lean. I'll add butter to it sometimes, like a Kerrygold butter. But yeah, no, I haven't. But it is it's for sure a leaner meat.
Do you ever get or did you ever get those Charlie horses? You know, night cramps in your legs, feet.
I have for sure. I've had calf. Yeah. What, have you had that too?
Yeah, I think most carnivores do sort of go through a phase, and it can for like a year or two. I mean, and all of a sudden, and you try all these different things, more salt, magnesium, different things, and you can't really tell if it's working or not. It seems like maybe, or they just come randomly, and then they seem to just kind of fade away after a while.
Yeah. Have they faded away for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because I do take a magnesium supplement because it's for just like the natural muscle relaxation benefits of it. But I've thought at different times when I have had that, I thought, well, maybe I just need extra potassium. I know I take in a fair amount of sodium, so I'm not so worried about that, but maybe I'm missing a little potassium. But it kind of comes and goes. It doesn't ever become a major problem. So, but that's interesting.
Quandary. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
I need to get into more like group chats with other carnivores and hear because that's I know I've had that exact experience before where I'm sound asleep, but the next thing you know, I am like flying out of bed trying to like stand on my legs so that my Charlie horse goes away and my calf. Yeah, I for sure had that.
Well, the MeatRx meetings are good for those kinds of group chat things. It's really a great support for carnivores.
Yeah, I'm going to join in. You've inspired me to do that.
Good deal.
To try that. Yeah.
Yeah. Come to my cooking.
And I'm coming to your cooking thing for sure.
That's fun.
I don't know about these waffles.
Oh yeah. You'll probably like those. Your husband will like them. Yeah. The chaffles. Yeah.
Chaffles. I'm gonna have to, and it's probably on the website. Do you have it listed as one of the recipes?
Soon. I've kind of been truant. I keep promising Sean that I'm going to do that, and then I forget to do it. But basically, chaffles are eggs, and there's different ways to make them. But a classic way is eggs with grated cheese.
Okay.
You could go. You could put vanilla or something in there if you want.
Sure.
And some people use eggs and pork rind instead, or with addition, but basically it's eggs and some grated cheese, and you put it in a waffle iron. It works out really well.
I have a waffle iron too. I should try that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's good. It's fun. But ribeye is better. So
yeah.
I want to ask you what what other things did you notice, or have you noticed anything with your skin with carnivore diet?
I feel like digestive tract wise, like I never have any problems with indigestion, irregularity. I feel like my insides are like a well-oiled machine. Everything seems to be working so well. And I hear about people talk about struggling with constipation or acid reflux or gut aches and all these different things. And I think, that's not a part of my world. I don't deal with any of those things. And it's so convincing to me that everything seems to be working so well. This diet is the right diet for my body, because I honestly, I don't really have any complaints. I don't have any complaints at all, but my skin, I never had any real skin problems. I wish it would take away my wrinkles, but that hasn't happened.
That'd be nice, huh?
Yeah, but I do actually think it does it does maybe contribute to some youth. I'm looking at you and thinking how beautiful you are in your skin,
and I'm like 120 years old.
Well, I'm like 115, so, but I never really experienced any problems with that. I feel like my hair feels healthy. I feel like physically things are only like improving in my world of carnivore, and I feel so grateful when I hear about all these other struggles people are having as we get older, that I just don't have that. It's not really at all a part of my world. So it's easy to stay on it because I feel good on it. It's not like I'm forcing myself and making these horrible sacrifices. It's only a win to kind of stay on track.
Yeah, it's easy to eat ribeyes and delicious meat, cheeseburgers, and
yeah. But I will say I would say mental clarity, I for sure should include that, has been huge for me. I used to crash around like, I don't know, like 3, 4, or 5 o'clock. And I'd literally look at the clock and think, oh my God, how many more hours till I get into bed? Like I got to somehow make it from now to like as early as I can possibly get into bed. And I would say that's gone. I can go I'm an early to bed, early riser anyway, but I don't get the mental crash that I experienced all the years with my kids and when they were little. And so that part feels good too.
yeah. Do you drink? Do you drink alcohol?
Occasionally I'll have a dirty martini.
Mm-hmm.
I really like dirty martinis, but it's not the kind of drink that you have middle of the day, right? So sometimes I'll have soda water with just olive juice. I don't eat the olives, but the sodium in the olive juice is really like satisfying. So yeah, I'm trying not to go Marilyn Monroe at noon with a dirty martini. If I'm craving one, I'll have just soda water with olive juice in it.
Yeah, I mean, do you notice, even when you do have a dirty martini with socializing, you probably don't drink much more than 1 or 2.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But do you notice when you're out socializing and people are, eating and drinking like they do, with a lot of carbs, that as the night progresses, people get slower and slower and kind of silly and goofy and stupider, and you're kind of staying sharp. It's really an interesting thing with you're staying lucid with carnivore diet.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I do remember that initial shock. I've never been a big drinker. I'm only like 2 is rowdy for me kind of thing. But the way we eat, sometimes I don't even finish one. I'll just have a few, like half of it. There was a place we could go that I could order a half a martini, which was a jackpot because that's all I ever wanted. But it totally does. I think we metabolize it differently too. I think it can go sort of straight to our heads the way we eat. I think our body just doesn't totally know how to handle it, maybe, or it's just out of practice.
I think we metabolize it first. Alcohol is the first thing.
Right. and then it doesn't, like if you're eating meat along with the alcohol, doesn't it trump the meat, right? Like it starts to focus only on that.
Right. You burn alcohol first, even before sugar, before ketones and fat.
Yeah.
So I definitely right away felt like, well, I can't drink very much, that's for sure. And I don't want to,
Right.
something the
Right.
first year. But now it seems like, interestingly enough, I mean, I've always been a lightweight with drinking, but now it seems like it has, I think I have read and experienced that the saturated fat has some kind of protective element. And so it affects me, but not in the same kind of just deleterious way, even while I'm drinking.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's that piece you were talking about, like you're still staying on track, and you
Yeah.
had clarity when you're watching your
Mhm.
friends kind of lose it and slow down and slurring their
Yeah.
words and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you drink coffee?
I do. I will have a cup of coffee. I love coffee, and meaning of life would go away for me if I had to cut coffee out. So yeah, I do drink coffee. I'm a caffeine. I think caffeine's okay. It's okay for me. I'm not sensitive to it. I've loved the taste of coffee my whole life. I loved coffee ice cream when I was little, like, so I do, but I don't, I usually, I don't put anything in it. It's just coffee. If I ever do, it might be heavy whipping cream because there's not the lactose and not the dairy part of it. But, yeah. Are you a coffee drinker? Do you drink coffee at all?
Yeah, I drink decaf,
Yeah.
sometimes, and with cream, with heavy cream,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun ritual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go out for coffee.
Easy for me to drop it out. Sometimes I go back.
Yeah.
I like it, although sometimes it seems like it affects my skin a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
A little bit, but not too bad. So it's not a big deal for me. What I
Have
noticed.
you noticed a change? Like you asked me this question, and I think that is interesting. Like, what are some sort of like physical things you've noticed being carnivore?
Yeah, I've really noticed I don't sunburn. It's huge. I'm
Oh,
kind of a redhead. I've sunburned all my life, and now I don't sunburn.
yeah.
So
You know,
that's crazy.
yeah. So do you not put sunscreen on either? Yeah. Well,
And,
and I mean,
I sunbathe. It feels so good to sunbathe. And, people have talked about it maybe being the PUFA element, not having polyunsaturated fatty acids, that you're eating saturated fats, it doesn't oxidize. All your skin cells are, in fact, all your cell membranes are made of some kind of fat, whatever fat you're feeding yourself. And so less inflammation. And so that people have attributed to that PUFA changeover.
yeah. I had read something about that too. You did a great job of explaining it. And I was with my family, and we were on a boat at our cabin, and I was realizing I wasn't burning either. I'm never very good at putting sunscreen on, and I don't like sunscreen a whole lot anyway because of all the different chemicals in it. But I joke with the family, and they always roll their eyes at me. But I'm always like, you guys, I don't even get sunburn anymore. Like I'm like a lion. I'm a lioness. Like I'm untouchable. That's just, and they're like, oh, okay, mom, you're a lion, whatever.
You are a lioness.
But it is. I feel like I do have like a coat of armor. I feel like I don't get sick. I'm the least. I'll get like a cold once a year, but I feel like as far as like getting sicknesses and stuff, that's totally different. I rarely get sick.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
huge. And what's your recovery like? I mean, you run a fitness center, and are you a runner? Or?
So it's a CrossFit gym, so it's a variety of different things. I love running though. And I do love, and I feel like, gosh, carnivore wise, my recovery, you're specifically maybe asking for that. I don't get the like inflammation, the sore muscles, I've been doing it for, I don't know, 6 years. And I've never had like a real injury. I don't struggle with, I work out every day. I don't even take a break because I just love working out. So I don't take a rest day.
You've been doing CrossFit for 6 years?
Yeah, specifically CrossFit for that many years. Owner of my CrossFit gym for like a year and a half now. But yeah, I think it has to play a role in sort of the stamina that I have in the gym, and like the lack of needing rest days, and or not really needing those, I can kind of get back at it and still feel good.
Yeah, that's great. I think recovery is so huge with
Yeah.
and recovery is so huge with any kind of any kind of athletic pursuit. It's so
Mhm.
much about recovery, because how can you keep improving if your recovery is slow?
Right, right. And how can you be consistent too? It's hard to be, and I think that's key to being able to see results, is staying consistent and really working at it. Sean Baker's been a ton of fun to follow because he's turning into CrossFit guy.
Yeah,
Um,
he looks so, talk about the fountain of youth.
yeah,
He's looking younger and younger and younger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
yeah. He looks like a college athlete,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I love how hard he works. He works so hard, and he's fun to watch. And he's definitely such a good role model for our
He
scene.
is. I
Yeah.
love the way he just brings it to every man. Like
Mhm.
when he was doing those push-ups at the gas station and stuff, when he was on
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
road and still doing his push-ups. It's great.
yeah. Was that when he was doing his It was like 100 push-ups a day or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was great.
I think
But
so.
I mean, he's almost doing like a gladiator workout kind of scene.
Yeah.
With he's doing it for the people. Like, here, look at what we can do.
Yeah.
Meat fueled workouts and it's really cool to see. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, yeah, he seems like I don't know, the real deal.
Yeah, yeah, for
Well, it's
sure.
really been fun talking to you. I want to ask you for a very important question. As a coach now, um, and especially with your job running this CrossFit gym, it must give you a really good, you're in a good position to influence a lot of people about their health.
Hmm.
And I'm just, what is your, what would you say to someone who was just considering coming onto the, trying to carnivore diet? What would you say?
Well, that you have nothing to lose. Why not try it? And um, it's a good life. If you like meat and it's a fun. I mean, I feel like maybe the older I get, the more I appreciate an adventure and something new. But I think, why not give it a try even for a week? And it is the kind of diet that you try it for a week and you'll feel different. You'll absolutely um, you'll notice positive changes in a short period of time. So yeah, I don't know. People talk to me about it all the time because I think it's fascinating. For like we were talking about, like, what? That's all you do? You just eat meat? It's crazy. But yeah, I encourage people to at least try it and see if it's something you can do. Sometimes I'll hear from people like, no, I could never give up rice. I could never. And we talked about vegetables but what's fun about the coaching part is the people that are coming to you are already past that filter. They're already at this place where now I am ready to try it. This is something I want to do. So then you get to join them at that part of the journey. There's no convincing that you need to do this. They already are in that place. So it's downright fun to like work with these people because they're ready for it and they want to try it. And, so
Nice.
very rewarding. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm really glad you're in the carniverse.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
so fun to meet you. And like I said, you've inspired me. I'm coming to your Wednesday cooking,
Yeah, do so.
and I'll try to join some of the groups so I can connect with some other carnivore
Great.
people.
Good. Very good. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a blast.
It's a blast. And I'll see you there. I'll see you online there
Yeah, yeah,
on our meetings.
yeah. That'll
Okay.
be fun. So it's on Zoom, right? Like, so we'll be like
Zoom.
this.
Yeah, you go to the
Yeah.
platform, go to the
Mhm.
BRX platform, and they use Zoom.
Great. Good. Well, I'll see you there.
They ask you to join up, I think, and it's the first month is free. I think the subsequent months are like it's a nominal fee, maybe $10 or a month or something. But the first one's free. So you can come
Okay.
check it out and see if it's of value to you.
Yeah, I bet it will be.
Well, you're a coach, so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah,
You're already a member.
yeah, yeah.
So just
And I know it's available to me. I just need to get into it. And now having so much fun talking to you is making me want to connect more with people. So that's
right.
good.
Okay, thanks. Thanks
Yeah.
again. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me.
Okay, talk
Yeah.
to you soon. Bye.